Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodana Sodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodana Yamuna Tira Vana Chari Munati Jamuna Dira Vana Chari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodana Yamuna Tira Vana Chari Jamuna Tira Vana Chari Tira Yamuna Tira Vana Chari Tira Jayam Vishnupad Pranamahamsa Parivajakacharya Asatya Sadashishimad. His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Kota Vaishnavanda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Prem se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Shri Maya Pranab Dham ki jai, Ganga Maya ki jai, Jamuna Maya ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Go Premanandi, all glorious Sama devotees, all glorious Sama devotees, all glorious Sama devotees, all glorious to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Is the volume okay? Okay. I'm getting the right chapter here. What is it, text 6? 7? Yeah. Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 31, text number 7. Everybody has devices, or if you don't have one, maybe you could team up with somebody that does. Tat na payotaya adhyatma jnanam tattva artha darsanam yena anjasa tarusyama dustaram babasagaram tanna pradyo Dayadhyatma Jnanam Tadbharata Darsanam Yenhan Jashat Risyamo Dustarang Bhavasagaram Tanna Pradyo Dayadhyatma Jnanam Tadbharata Darsanam Yenon Jashat Rasyamo Dustarang Bhavasagaram Tanna Pradyo Dayadhyatma Jnanam Tadbharata Darsanam Yenon Jashat Rasyamo Dustarang Bhavasagaram. Jnanam Tadbharata Darsanam Yenon Jashat Rasyamo Dustarang Bhavasagaram Tanna Pradyo Yathadyatma Jnanam Tadbharata Darsanam. Tat. Therefore, na, for us, Pradyotaya, kindly awaken, Adhyatma, transcendental, Jnanam, knowledge, Tattva, absolute truth, Artha, for the purpose of, Darsanam, philosophy, Yena, by which, Anjasa, easily, through Syama, we can cross over, Dustaram, formidable, Bhavasagaram, the ocean of nescience. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Dear Master, kindly enlighten us in transcendental knowledge, which may act as a torchlight, by which we may cross the dark nescience of material existence. Purport. The Pachetas requested Narada to enlighten them in transcendental knowledge. Generally, when a common man meets a saintly person, he wishes to get some material benediction. However, the Pachetas were not interested in material benefit, for they had enjoyed all this sufficiently. Nor did they want the fulfillment of their material desires. They were simply interested in crossing the ocean of nescience. Everyone should be interested in getting out of these material clutches. Everyone should approach a saintly person in order to be enlightened in this connection. One should not bother a saintly person to get blessings from material enjoyment. Generally, householders receive saintly persons to get their blessings, but their real aim is to become happy in the material world. Asking such material benedictions is not recommended in the Shastras. Om Jnanatamārandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukram Krotavachalam Kongun Longhaitegrim Yatkripatalaham Bande Sigurum Dinataranam Vanchakapatubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I was once at a program with Radhanath Swami in Mumbai, and it was a big house, wealthy family, a lot of people attended. You know, wherever Maharaj goes, you know, a lot of people show. So it's a nice program. As we were leaving, the lady of the house, she came to Maharaj and said, Maharaj, please bless my son that he do good in math. And I was there and I said, Maharaj, please, Swami, ask Maharaj that your son become a good devotee. She got upset. She said, Krishna is many things, yeah. Like math, yeah. So, yeah, this is unfortunate that people that are materialistic, they approach saintly people to get some mundane thing. They could be getting blessings for something, you know, valuable. Yeah, but Prabhupada was on a train one time, and his disciples were there, and some of the people were trying to get his darshan, and the devotees were trying to keep them out because they knew what they were just going to bother Prabhupada. Yes, some mundane blessing. So they finally got in. Swamiji, please, bless us, bless us. Prabhupada said, my blessing is that you become like them. They're all sannyasis, his disciples, they're brahmacharis, sannyasis. Oh, no, Swamiji. Something else. They don't like that blessing, which is the real blessing. So, Lord Chaitanya, he, when he was young, there were some ladies that were worshipping Lord Shiva to get nice husbands. So Lord Chaitanya, I think he was about maybe 6 or something like that. He said, Lord Shiva, he's my servant. And Parvati, she's my maidservant. Give me everything that you're offering to Lord Shiva, and I'll bless you that you have strong young husbands and many children. Now some of them, young children, some of them brought the paraphernalia, they gave it to Lord Shiva, but some were like, no. But then he said, but if you don't, then I curse you that you're going to have a very old husband, and he has many children from co-wives, other wives. So then they thought, oh, wait a second. Then they started also giving to him. The Lord Chaitanya was also cursed that may you never have material enjoyment. It's a good curse. I wish I can get that curse. So there's blessings and there's curses. The greatest blessing is that devotees have an attachment for hearing and chanting and serving Krishna. This is a blessing. That one patiently, consistently hear and chant and engage in devotional service. This is a real blessing. And of course, in age of Kali, not so easy to have such a blessing. But it's possible. We have a wonderful example in Vaisheshika Prabhu. I don't know if anybody that's more absorbed in Krishna. And look at the result. He's just completely in ecstasy and just, passing it on. Passing on the ecstasy and the devotion and giving Krishna to others. This is another major blessing if we can be enthusiastic to serve Krishna and try to help others as well. Then this is a great blessing. See, we're not only interested in our own selves getting blessings, we want everybody to get the blessings of Krishna. Yeah. Prabhupada had a very wonderful father who, whenever a sannyasi would come, please bless my son that he become a devotee of Srimati Radharani. Imagine having a father like that, pure devotee. And the blessings came to be fruitful. Great devotee of Krishna and Srimati Radharani. So, yeah. So this verse, very nice verse. They're not asking, the Pachetas aren't asking for anything mundane. They want to be enlightened in devotional service. I was just reading. Prabhupada says, knowledge is the preliminary stage for engaging in devotional service. And we become enlightened by knowledge. So therefore there's so much emphasis on hearing. Hearing again and again. Because we become enlightened. We become enlightened and we want to engage in devotional service. So it can't be emphasized enough that we hear again and again this transcendental knowledge. Yeah. Yashastra Vrubichuja Vartate Kamakard Nasasadima Vabnati Nasukum Naparogi. Krishna says that if one discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his whim, he cannot achieve perfection, nor the goal of life, nor happiness. Yeah. So, to have Shastra, to have this Shastra, this is a great blessing, actually, that helps us grow in our spiritual life. And yeah, like I said, we don't only want, we want to help others grow as well. And therefore, Prahlad Maharaj says, Naivod Vijay Paratrajaya Vaitaranyas Todvirya Gaina Mahamrta Magna Chitta So Chaitato Mikuchetas Indriyartha Maya Sakaya Budvato Vimodhan. He said to Krishna, I have no problem, no anxiety. Why? Because I'm absorbed in hearing your glories. This is why. Because I'm absorbed in hearing and chanting your glories. But I am concerned about the unfortunate persons in this world who are absorbed in Maya Sukhaya, illusory happiness. I am concerned out of love for them. So this is a devotee. Yeah. This is a devotee. It's concerned. Paradukudukhi. It's concerned. People are suffering. They need this knowledge. Krishna Surya Sama Moya Hoya Andakar Yahan Krishna Tahanaya Mayara Arikara. That Krishna, he is compared to light. And Maya is compared to darkness. Wherever there is the light of Krishna consciousness, there is no darkness. So there's a lot of darkness in the material world. So this knowledge brings light into people's lives. And they become satisfied. Just like many of us were satisfied hearing about Krishna and serving Krishna. So there's a lot of dissatisfaction in the material world because their focus is on matter. Their focus is on trying to enjoy the material world. But Krishna's teaching us that no, don't focus on matter. We're not material. We're spiritual. Don't focus on matter. This brings frustration. As we see, there's so much frustration in the world. So we're getting this, as Krishna says in the Gita, he says, Nahi jnanena sajasam pavitam iha vidite tatsvayan yoga sangsa kalinat madivindati. He says there's nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. And when one becomes accomplished in the practice of devotional service, he experiences and enjoys this knowledge within. This knowledge is enjoyable. You know. Generally, knowledge is kind of boring, you know. Like when I was in school, it was so boring. I didn't like school. It's like, it's boring, isn't it? So boring. But when I read the Bhagavad Gita, I thought, now here's something it's actually exciting. It was like when I was reading, I couldn't put it down. To read the Bhagavad Gita, read the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's like, this is enlightening. This is wonderful. You know? And not only do you read it once, you can read it over and over and over again. It's so nice. It's enlightening. It removes ignorance, darkness. So this is sublime knowledge. When you're in the universities, did you find any sublime knowledge? There's no sublime knowledge in the universities. It's all mundane. You know? Technical knowledge, business. You know, that's the biggest one, business. Right? Make a lot of money. You know? Nothing sublime there. But Krishna comes and he gives us real knowledge by which we can get purified. So this is great fortune that we have this opportunity to get purified. So this comes about by coming in contact with transcendental knowledge. So what is transcendental knowledge? Transcendental knowledge is knowledge beyond the modes of material nature. And all this other knowledge, it's within the modes of nature. So one becomes more and more entangled by connecting with this mundane knowledge, which is all over the world, millions of books. Mundane knowledge under the modes of nature, 3 modes of material nature. But this transcendental knowledge, oh, sweet, so sweet. Shradava labate jnanam tatpara sangitendriya sarvutatma bhutat kurvanapinda lipite. He says, Krishna says, a faithful person who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who controls the senses attains such knowledge. And upon attaining such knowledge, he attains the highest peace. So this is a very interesting verse. A faithful person who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge. How can we dedicate ourselves to transcendental knowledge? Yes. Hearing. Yeah, hearing the knowledge. That's a way to dedicate. Yeah. How else? Huh? Applying it, living it. Living the knowledge, to hear it and then live it, applying it. Yeah, it's so important. But this is not just for reading. We're supposed to actually live these teachings. Yeah. And when you do, the knowledge comes alive. Yeah, it's like Prabhupada. It's like there's the book Bhagavat and there's the person Bhagavat. So Prabhupada was the personification of the Shastra. It's just amazing. And he lived it. Yeah. He lived it. He walked the talk. And like some people, they act very nicely, but they what is it? They act very nicely, but they don't, what is it? Yeah, they act nice, but they don't speak nicely. Some people, they speak nicely, but they don't act nicely. So Prabhupada was both. He spoke so nicely. Why? Because he said, I heard. I wanted to hear. Although it was difficult to understand the language of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But he heard. And he must have read so much, because he knows so many verses. Just like we have this Shastra book. So many verses. It's amazing. So you can imagine, he must have read a lot and memorized. He knows so many verses. It's like a whole book, of verses that he would quote. I mean, it's just like amazing. So he would hear a lot, and therefore he had a lot to say, which we are so fortunate to hear in these lectures, wonderful lectures that he gave. So, what is another way to show our dedication to this transcendental knowledge?
May I?
Yeah. Yes, you may.
If we offer menial service to the writer of transcendental books, then he can save time for the writing.
Yes. Serving Prabhupada. And we just heard from Ravi, Bhakta Ravi, distributing the knowledge. This is what Krishna wanted. He came and gave it, and he wanted it distributed all over the world. Prabhupada said, I want at least one BBT literature in all the homes of the world. Yeah. So we have a lot of service here in SanDiego in distributing this knowledge. And Krishna says that he who is distributing this knowledge is most dear to me, and there'll never be anyone more dear to me. So this is Krishna's soft spot. The soft spot, if there's something that a friend of yours really likes, like samosas, curd samosas and gulab jamuns, and something like this, and you give these things, it hits the soft spot. Yeah. Become a better friend. So this is Krishna's soft spot. Because to see all his parts and parcels in this world suffering, it gives pain. It gives pain to Krishna. So when we distribute books, when we distribute this knowledge, we're relieving Krishna of pain because people are getting a chance to hear about him. And people are becoming attracted to him also. So this is so important. So here in this verse, it's mentioned that one can cross over this ocean of material existence by hearing from great souls. So they wanted to hear from Narada Muni. So again, the hearing is being emphasized. Samasataye parapalava plavam mahatparam punya somarare bhavam buddhir vatsa param 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 yad viparam natesa. That for one who has accepted the boat of the lotus feet of Krishna, for them this whole ocean, this vast ocean of material existence, becomes no bigger than the water contained in the hoofprint of a calf. And what is their goal? Param param, the spiritual world, the kingdom of God. Not this place where there's danger at every step. So, Krishna has very big feet. It's a boat. His feet are it's very interesting that his feet are compared to a boat. And it's in this verse it's mentioned made of lotus flowers, petals, lotus petals. His feet. It's mentioned in this verse that his feet are contained of lotus petals. So we want as many people as we can to get on this boat. Yeah. Krishna's lotus feet. Just get, and it's unlimited. Unlimited people can get on this boat. There's one boat now. There's a cruise boat that can get almost 9,000 people on it. But it's limited. It's a big boat. I mean, that's like a city. 9,000 people. It's like amazing. But Krishna's boat, the boat of Krishna's lotus feet, immeasurable. Unlimited living entities can get on this boat. So we want to get as many people on this boat, this transcendental boat, as possible. Yeah. But actually it's amazing that in the material world there's so much envy. Yeah. Sometimes people get on the boat and someone may maybe not like that person. Try to get him off the boat. Kick him off the boat. Material world, envy, right? So, and by this hearing and chanting and serving, we become free of these unwanted things: envy, lust, greed. These things can't go on the boat. We're not allowed on the boat if we have all this contamination. Because in the spiritual world, there's none of this poison. None of this contamination is there. So, and this is our natural position, to have this pure desire to serve Krishna. So, sometimes Prabhupada would be criticized that these disciples of yours, they're not so good devotees. So Prabhupada would say, but they're in the shower. How can you criticize? They're doing the process. They're practicing. Yeah. So now if they weren't practicing, that's another thing. But they're all practicing. They're all trying their best. They're in the shower. So why criticize? They're trying to get clean. So that's our situation. We're trying to get clean by this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We're trying to be cleansed. So this chanting of the holy name, this knowledge, this helps us to become pure. And I was reading recently also, Prabhupada says that the king of all confidential knowledge culminates in devotional service. This is the goal. This is why we're doing everything that we're doing. You know, we're getting up early, we're chanting, we're reading, to engage in devotional service. Pure devotional service. This is the goal. It's a challenge, but it's a nice challenge. And what kind of devotional service? Savai pung sung paro dharmo yato bhakti hoksajay haitu kapajita yatma suprasiddhi. The supreme occupational duty for all mankind is that by which one can engage in loving devotional service. And such service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted in order to completely satisfy the self. So this is what will satisfy. This is what will satisfy Krishna. Unmotivated, no material motivation. Just to please Krishna. Yeah. And uninterrupted. Phew. Krishna's asking for a lot, huh? But we get a lot. We get the lotus feet of Krishna. We go back to the spiritual world, where everybody is a pure devotee. Imagine that. No modes of nature. The only mode there is the mode of pure devotional service, Prabhupada says in one purport. So this is our desire to achieve this, this mode of pure devotional service. Only this will satisfy the soul. And it'll satisfy the mind. Now the mind wants so many things. The senses want to enjoy. But as long as our senses are out of control, our mind is out of control, no. That's called Godas. Godas, servant of the senses. And then there's the Goswami, controller of the senses. So we can control the senses, if we can control the mind, then we can go very nicely on this path, this bhakti marg, this path of devotional service. Sometimes we've seen that, going back again to the blessings. Sometimes we get blessings that are in disguise. Can't see how it's a blessing. Like I had the example myself that I was distributing books in Miami for many years, for 12 years, but it became very difficult to distribute books there in the airport. Distribute books in the airport, very difficult, because they put restrictions. Very difficult. So then I thought, I can't do this anymore. So I went to the Los Angeles temple, and I was distributing books there in Los Angeles, and it's very nice, nicely. And people started coming to the temple there. But I was there was one other book distributor, Sachi Tanoy, distributing books there as well. But somehow Krishna just sent all these young people to the temple, and they got to do something. So Srivastava said, well, train them up in book distribution. So I went there, was just 2 devotees distributing books, me and Sachi. But Krishna sent all these people, And within like 2 years, we had like 12 people going out on book distribution in the airport and other places there. So I was disturbed that I had to give up my Sankirtan spot there in Miami. It was actually a very good place for book distribution. But I thought, anyway, went to Los Angeles, and it was amazing. It was wonderful. Yeah. Had a whole team of book distribution. It's still going. Yeah. Brigapati now, he's heading it up, doing huge book distribution. And then, a year ago I was in India, and I had a whole tour. I was going to go all around Europe, giving book distribution seminars, and then this COVID-19 happened. I thought, oh, it's terrible. So then I came back to America. I got out just in time before they had the lockdown. I mean, literally a day. If I would have gone a day later, I would have been stuck for months. I got out. But Suhas is very strict because of this COVID-19. He was only allowing people that are full-time. I wasn't a full-time book distributor or a full-time devotee in LA. So I went up, up north, Maheshwar's place. What to do? Called Balaram. Yeah, come on down. And the book distribution here is so sweet. It's so sweet. It's like it was all a blessing in disguise. Yeah. Can't see it. Can't always see. But a devotee actually likes to be in a situation where you have to depend on Krishna. Yeah. It's very good. Yeah. It helps us to be healthy in our Krishna consciousness. When we're in a situation, a difficult situation, it's a blessing in disguise. And therefore Queen Kunti, she prayed for these difficult situations so she can take shelter of Krishna. Yeah. She's in the boat of the lotus feet of Krishna, absorbed in serving Krishna. And we have so many nice examples in the Shastras of devotees that are just absorbed in Krishna. And within our society also. Like I mentioned, Radhanath Swami, he's totally fixed. I was talking to him a few weeks ago, and he said, I'm doing more service now than I was doing before. He says, always on these Zoom calls. And so many wonderful devotees have come out of this process of Krishna consciousness. So we have this opportunity as well. Golden opportunity to surrender to Krishna. And when we do, we'll be so happy, so satisfied. And in the material world, there's material happiness. But in devotional service, it's bliss. It's not just it's not happy, it's bliss. Eternality, knowledge, and bliss. It's ever increasing. Always increasing. So this is the nature of devotional service. And another thing is that by coming in contact with this knowledge that we're getting to hear about devotional service, we also get to get knowledge which is so pure. In the material world, there's so much speculation. Just like the other day, I was distributing books, and he appreciated the book I gave him, Journey of Self-Discovery, Bhagavad Gita. He texted me and he said, this knowledge reminds me of an old saying that you are me and I am you. You ever heard this before? It's like a little slogan. People like that. So I had to write back. I wrote back to him and said, it's a nice, little catchy little slogan, but it's not true. You are you and I am me. It's not true. It's speculation. And he wrote back and said, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. I need some help, There's so much speculation out there, and therefore Prabhupada came to teach us how to serve Krishna, free of all impersonalism and speculation. You know? People don't even know how contaminated they are with all this Mayavad, all this speculation. So Prabhupada has come to clear it all up so we could see everything clearly. So is there any question? Comment?
I think Vijay Prabhu has some question.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vijay Prabhu, my question is related to the following quote pertaining to the purport. Quote, generally, when a common man meets a saintly person, he wishes to get some material benediction. End quote. So my question is, if I may, what is the meaning in the context of this sentence of the two words common man? Who is the common man related to in the context of this sentence?
Just ordinary people. You know, like I mentioned how Prabhupada was on the train, and some ordinary people, they wanted to get Prabhupada's darshan, but they wanted some material thing, and that was shown when Prabhupada said, "You want my blessings? Here, this is my blessings. You become like them. Renounce." They were scared. They weren't interested in that. They wanted some material. They said something, I forget what it was, but they wanted some material benediction. Fix my knee, was that it? One of them said, Swamiji, my knee is a little messed up. Can you fix my knee? Bless me. So people of mundane consciousness, they just want some mundane thing. So this world is filled with common people. They don't know, actually. They don't know what they want. Natevatu svartha gatinghi Vishnu. Derasya ye bahir arthamayana. Andhayatandera piniyamanas. Te pisit tantram urdamdibata. They don't know what is actually valuable. What is actually valuable is to engage in the devotional service of Krishna. But they haven't a clue. They haven't a clue about that. What they are thinking is very valuable is sense gratification. Yeah. This is what they're thinking is very valuable. And therefore they're blind. Not only the common people, but the leaders all over the world, they're blind. They don't know what is best for the people. And therefore people are frustrated all over the world. Yeah. So it's our duty to give out this knowledge so that they understand what is actually valuable. We also didn't know. We thought sense gratification, the goal of life, that's how I'll be happy. Then Krishna made some adjustments in our lives, and here we are now. We understand what is actually valuable, engage in devotional service of Krishna. So the mission of this movement is to turn the common men into uncommon men, devotees, to turn the crows into swans. The common man is a crow, and the uncommon, the devotees, they're the swans. So that's our mission, is to turn the crows into swans. Not easy. But it's happening. All over the world, people are coming to their senses, their real senses, and engaging in devotional service. So we want to increase that. Is that okay?
Yes, may I ask a follow-up question?
You may.
What should we do when we find the common man calling the uncommon man crazy people?
Yeah, in 1966, when Prabhupada first started the movement, Prabhupada, he was they started a Harinam there at the park, doing bhajan, but then Prabhupada wanted them to go out to the city and do Harinam. They did it reluctantly because, that's the first time there was a walking Harinam, and they were a little, uneasy. New York's a heavy place, yeah. So one time they came back and said, Prabhupada, the people here in New York City, they think we're crazy. And Prabhupada said, that's common. They think we're crazy and we think they're crazy. But the difference is, we know they're crazy. Because Krishna says, Dehi nosman yatha dehe kamaram yovaram jara. They think that they're their body, but they're not their body. They're crazy. And it became such a common thing that Prabhupada had the devotees write this book, Who's Crazy? Little pamphlet. Who's crazy? Who's actually crazy? So logistically, it was very logical that the person who thinks that they're the body, they're crazy. They're not the body. We're the soul. So this is the reality. So we're trying to help people come to this reality. We're the soul within. And to engage in devotional service, this is the happiness of the soul. The happiness of the body is sense gratification, but that's just illusory, temporary. Nobody wants temporary happiness, is it? Everybody wants eternal happiness. So that's only there in service to Krishna. Any other questions, comments? Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki.